All right, so I made a video very, very recently talking about how you can future-proof your account. And I actually got a lot of really, really good feedback on that video. So much to the point that I felt like it was necessary to expand a little bit on what we were talking about. Because again, a lot of you had some really good comments, and I agree with well, I don't want to say a lot. I agree with some of you. Some of you had some like spot on points that I was like, yeah, no, like that actually makes a ton of sense. So we're going to cover that in today's video, as well as giving you some other flex options for future proofing your account. I use quotation marks because I covered it in more detail in the previous video, which if you haven't seen it, I will link it at the end of this video because again, I think they're going to go sort of in tandem together. These are not intended to be build videos. This is just intended to speak to options for your account on what you should do or what you could do to maximize your resources better. So let's go and jump straight into it. Because again, the first one, and if you missed it, again, I will link the first video at the very end. I'm going to assume from this point on that you've seen it and talk about different options. Overall, underlying point of the video was which 4 characters could you maximize to minimize the amount of additional resources, so that way you could truly choose to invest in terms of the materials whoever you want. So that way, if a character does come out, you don't feel like you have to do it in order to be relevant in in-game content. Instead, you can just wait for a hero that you actually want because you know that you will have all of the necessary options between all the different Shinkas that are available and all the different elements that are available. So get back into it. The number one comment that I got was about Tantu. So in that video, I did recommend Tantu as like my go-to piercing specifically for Borealis because it does allow you to literally change between all the different elements and it's piercing. So it's again, one hero that does all the above. Now, some of you pointed out or asked Umiko. So one of the highest part or the highest thing you need in the most important thing you need in this game is movement speed, and Umiko has it, whereas Tantu does not. So I stand corrected with that recommendation that Umiko, based off the criteria that I shared, would be a better option for us for again a more well-rounded approach to be good in all different categories because she does use all the same weapons that Tantu does. So same comments as before in that first video, but again from an ability standpoint, yes, you are actually able to do a lot more because of the movement speed and in her whole kit. So again, I stand corrected on Umiko. Some other ones that you guys said that I don't agree with fully, but I do want to at least speak to in a video format to give you guys, again, more choices. Because again, I'm not saying this is the only way. I'm saying this is the most optimal way to build your account because a lot of people ask me almost daily on my comments, who should I build out? And the point of these 2 videos is to truly answer the question, who you should be building out so that way you can get more freedom to use your resources on characters you want. I know I'm saying this again, but I can't tell you how many times I said it in that video and people still commented like, oh, well, I actually disagree with you, which again, I'm good with. You guys, I encourage disagreeing, but like just make sure you listen to what I said because when you disagree with something that I clarified, it feels a little weird and awkward to try to address when I'm like, did you watch the video? So anyway, that's why I had to say it again because some of you didn't listen to it the first time, but I love all of you. But again, so okay, Rossi 11. Again, I fully stand corrected on the Umiko recommendation versus Tantu. Tantu does do more overall damage, but like I said in the first video, that is not the main goal of this recommendation. It is to give you the most flexibility. So if I'm staying true to myself and staying true to that mission statement, yes, Umiko does do a much better job at more places than Tantu, whereas Tantu is more meta in terms of piercing, in terms of damage, like similar to Hellhest. Hellhest does more damage than Tantu, so it's like good, better, best, right? So Umiko is good in terms of damage, Tantu's better, and then Hellhest is best, at least in current standing and what is currently available to us. But for overall use in different play zones, Umiko is better in that aspect. All right, moving on. This was the other one. God, get these fish off my screen. The other one was Rossi 11. I want to sort of talk through why I disagree with this to a point. Now, again, the main point I was making with that video is that these heroes give us the ability of having all elements, but also checking the boxes for all Shinka types. So while you do get piercing and rapid fire with one hero, which is Rossi 11, and it's really good, again, you only get one element for piercing. Now, again, I'm fully aware that Shinkas don't have elements tied to them. But again, after you kill the Shinka, there's also you might want a different element. And that's where like, you know, you're not getting void, right? You have no void options currently with Rossi 11. You have 2 different bows that are both arc. One's of course exotic. And then you have the Mahamuri, and then you have a solar auto crossbow. So like, yes, you're getting 2 different Shinka counters, but you're straight up missing an element. And I think I would rather have all the elements with one character than basically I would rather do one thing really, really good, which is counter all elements, than do half of both things okay. Now, again, I personally think that Rossi 11 does the most damage out of out of a lot of heroes, even some of the mythic heroes. But for the point of the video, I don't agree that it gives you the best flexibility. He's really good, and he does a shit ton of damage, no doubt about it. And again, the ability of having the bow and the auto crossbow does give you a lot of flexibilities with Shinkas, but straight up just not having void at all between your artifacts or any weapons currently available. Again, this could change. If they added either a bow or an auto crossbow that is void, then yes, go for it. But again, that's sort of my opinion on Rossi 11. The other one that I do actually agree with a lot of you was Ikora. So some of you said Ikora was a much easier build instead of our good friend Mario. And again, I don't disagree with that. I think, again, Mario, and this is where I have to disagree with myself because, again, my mission statement in the previous video was not necessarily most damage, but most flexibility. So again, reviewing that and then reconsidering Ikora, I do stand corrected. You do have a arc and a void like grenade launcher, but then you do have the two-tailed fox that, while none of these are giving you solar, it gives you... Well, you get both, right? So it does two. So it does void and solar. So you're gonna do just fine with this weapon, with solar. So I think it's fine, and it also just does a shit ton of damage. Like only at one catalyst, this thing feels huge and does a ton of damage. Also, the skin is badass. I forgot where I got it, but yeah, I like it. I like that one a lot. So I do stand corrected in that aspect. I don't want to call people out by names and be wrong, but again, some of you did recommend Ikora, and I actually do stand corrected in that way that if you wanted to use the rocket launchers, there are two different available to you, but also the two-tailed fox, again, does solar and void. So by using the arc present fleet, and then also having the two-tailed fox, you're still doing all elements and covering spread. So I do think that Ikora is a good option. When you're thinking, in terms of overall coverage. And then it's only two weapons. That's it. Like you don't have to have the ability of maxing out other weapons. You have all three elements with two weapons. So that's a really good point. And from an ability standpoint, dude, her ultimate is dirty. I mean, it's slow as hell, but it also does a crap ton of damage. And you do get the ability of like sort of clustering people together and doing damage. So like I do agree. I stand corrected on both the Umuko challenge as well as the Ikora challenge. The other one that I was going to point out that like if you don't have Yolder, like you could run a Finala. You could. Again, you sort of you lack depth with arc when it comes to rapid fire, and I made my comment about that already. But you can use her as like your impact. I don't think she's a good character at all, and I would much rather just use Yolder, like I said, especially now that they've buffed the Huckleberry. You can run the Huckleberry as your exotic and do a crap ton of damage. Nope. But then you can also have three different elements of your sword and feel really, really good about your options. So again, I think that I stand corrected when it comes to most of the suggestions you guys came up with, but I still kind of stand on the business when it comes to Yolder. I think Yolder is, again, one of you mentioned the new hero potentially coming out, Jaren Ward. We don't know for sure what, at least at the time of this recording, what his toolkit is going to be. If he does have at least the leaks are, he's going to have a hand cannon and a shotgun. If that's the case, then yes, we do have a shit ton of options for that. So if we were to jump back, for hand cannons, yes, we have three. Damn it, we have three different options for hand cannons in terms of elements. We also have at least two exotics currently that have two different elements and also have very dramatically different playstyle. And then if you do the shotgun, yeah, I mean, once again, there's a ton of shotgun options as well. There's literally one for each element and two different exotics. So I think that if Jaren Ward does come with a hand cannon and a shotgun, then yes, I would actually completely like full stop on Yolder and go into Jaren Ward, because again, that's two different things that you can fully do between piercing and impact. And then at that point, again, if he does have piercing with that of the hand cannon, then you might not even need Tantu or what's her face? Umiko. So yeah, I mean, again, if the leaks are true, then this could he's it. Like he's the number one go-to. So keep that in mind. Hopefully this video does clarify. And once again, thank you guys so much for sharing your feedback. Like I said, I read all my comments. I do my absolute best to respond to all my comments, but I do work full time. So I do my best to respond to as many of you as I can. Just know that I do appreciate all the comments and I do read them. So let me know what you guys think about this sort of revised or like part 2 of, fully future-proofing your account. And again, this second video is basically fully developed by you guys. So once again, thank you so much. Now, like I said from the beginning, if you missed that first video where I did go into great detail on why I thought certain heroes were the best to future-proof your account, make sure you click on it right here because that's the one that sort of caused all this conversation. So it'll make a lot more sense if you see this one first. So go ahead and go watch it now.